time to stop wasting time. And today I'm going to show you just how you can make your underwriting process more efficient with the best REI calculator on the planet, known as DealCheck, DealCheck.io. Have you ever been in your REI calculator and after you put all that information in, right? You just spent the last couple of hours, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe even 2 hours, depending on how experienced you are. You spend the last couple of hours gathering all this information from these different websites and you plugged it into your calculator and you discover this property doesn't hit any of your criteria, right? You're not alone, but if you're like me in that scenario, at least what I used to do, then you're going to spend the next 15, 30, or 60 minutes going back and adjusting one of those many other variables to try to make your deal work and trying to figure out just what variables you should adjust to hit your criteria. And when I say adjust, what I mean by that is you want to make sure that you put all the information in. Did you gather the right tax information? Are you looking at the right rent comps? Are you looking at the right sales price or purchase price? What's up, y'all? My name is Jay Helms, and I'm the founder of the W2 Capitalist. If you're like me and you started out using a calculator that was built for some forum website, then you have absolutely no idea what you're missing and just how easy underwriting properties can be. I am excited to introduce you to DealCheck.io. Now, before I go on, I want to let you know that not only am I a client, but I'm also an affiliate. What that means is I'll earn a small piece of any services that you sign up for using my link. But if you're not familiar with me and the W2 Capitalist, then you probably don't know that I don't recommend or present products or do demos like this for any services that I don't use myself. And DealCheck.io is one of those tools in my bag. Actually, it is an app. It is an app on my phone. You can get it too, right? That I use frequently. By the way, this is not a one-size-fits-all system, and you essentially pay for what you use. What I mean by that is it is free to sign up. It is free to sign up and use for life, but when you get into the more meaningful parts of the software, whether you're a buy and hold, or you're a flipper, or you're a wholesaler, then those parts are going to be the ones that actually save you time. You're going to have to pay for those, right? But I'm going to help you out with that. So be sure to stick around to the end of this video for a special promo code just for you that's going to get you 25% off your subscription, whatever plan that you sign up for. All right, now let's dive in. All right, guys, in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you just how powerful this tool is, and I'm going to show you how it's going to save you some time, right? So I'm logging in to get set up here, and what you'll notice, because I've been here before, it's going to take me directly to the login screen, but if you've never been here before, app.dealcheck.io, I'll put it in the description below. It's going to take you to their homepage where you can click sign in. You can also click up to sign up for a free account, or you can log in with your Google, Apple, or Facebook IDs. As I'm logging in to get set up here, as I mentioned before, DealCheck has modules for rentals, wholesales, flips, and BRRRRs, but where my experience lies is for the buy and hold. So my focus today will be on the rental module. Now this is my dashboard, right? And when you look at all this, it's got all these rentals, BRRRRs, flips, wholesale. You'll notice that the BRRRRs and the flips and the wholesale only have one property in them, and those are the test properties that are preloaded in there for you for DealCheck. These rental properties are properties that I've looked at or quite possibly have owned at some point in time. And for those that I'm looking at currently, I did remove them from this presentation because, quite frankly, I don't want you to know. I don't want you to know. Now, this is my dashboard, and I've cleaned it up to show you properties that I don't mind you seeing, right? These are properties that these 11 that are in here are properties that I've looked at before, I've owned them before, and I don't mind you seeing them, right? I did take the ones out that I would mind you seeing. So that's why there's only 11 properties in this demo that I'm showing you here today, right? But one thing I love about this is you keep building your funnel here as you go after these properties. One of the things that I love, that we're going to dive into this later, I just want to point it out now, is these green check marks or red check marks, right? And you're going to set up your investing criteria. I don't know that I'm going to get into that here in this demonstration. I might do a separate demo on it later, but it lets you know if you hit, now I only have 3, but if you hit all of your criteria, you're going to get a green check box, right? If you don't hit all of your 3, right? Like for example, in this one, it hits 2 out of the 3, you still get a red X. That's going to come in very handy as you continue to build your portfolio, as you continue to build your lead flow and you know which properties to go after, right? But the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a property. Now we're going to add This property right here, this 1811 El Paso Trail, I no longer own this property. It's a duplex that we used to buy. If you see on my website, the 10-step guide to buying and holding small multifamilies, this is the property I'm talking about. This is the property that we experienced a 396% return over just 3 years and never stepped foot inside of it from the time it went under. I mean, I've never been in the property ever. I was going to say from the time it went under contract, but I've never been in that property. And it's literally 5 miles from here, which helped me understand that if you know the market, then that is easy to transition into long distance investing, right? Let me start over. Let me get back over here. We're going to add a property. So simply, we're going to hit the add property button. We're going to import property data. This is one of the features about DealCheck that absolutely made me fall in love with it and is really the reason why I'm having this conversation with you today, right? Now, there are other calculators out there that basically the forum calculator I was talking about, that where you've went to all these different websites, the tax assessor's websites, the property appraiser's websites, whatever the case may be, and you've grabbed all this data. And if you want to enter that manually, you would go here. And some of that you may still have to grab, but for the most part, DealCheck is phenomenal about how it pulls all these different resources to get this information in, and you're going to see that right now. So we're going to click on import property data. I'm going to put in the address of this one. It's 11811 El Paso Trail. And if you'll notice, this is predictive text. This is not because of something that I did on my own. I looked at all these properties. This is straight from DealCheck working in the background. So we're going to choose that. We're going to click on search, and it pulls up instantly. Love it. Multifamily, built in 1984, 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. So I know this is a duplex. So that leads me to believe that this is 2 bedroom, 1 bath on each side, right? Square footage, the year built, the square foot of the lot. We can show more details, number of floors, central heat and air, and exterior vinyl siding. All that is true. And by the way, I didn't put any of that information in. This is something that DealCheck grabbed from all these different resources and imported, right? There are no property value estimates at this time. Some other properties will show you that. This one does not. Then this is a relatively new feature. This is rental income estimates, right? We love the DealCheck estimate, Zillow's estimate. Right here, it is right on target. I know what those units rent for. It is right on target. So is with DealCheck. But the point being here is that you have multiple of these, so you can hone in on where your market is for rentals of those units, right? Sales history. This is when we sold it. This is what we sold it for. Tax assessed value. Now this is pulled straight from the property appraiser's website. I can say that that is the case. Right. Last assessment 2019, tax amount. Here's another thing. Absolutely love this, right? Nearby schools, elementary school, middle school, high school. Again, I didn't put that in there. It pulled all this information in, as well as these photos. I didn't put these photos in. I don't even know who took these photos. I did not. Matter of fact, those don't even look like photos that I've ever seen before until now. So yeah, it pulls all this information in. So you get down here to the bottom, and also love this piece. I love it. Property description. Like if you're going to use this as a report to show potential investors or a bank, and you want to have all this information when it looks uber professional, then here's a property description. Now import it in. You can change it up if you want to. It looks like maybe it pulled it from Zillow. Now, you can choose import property, or you can choose import and customize. I recommend that you choose import and customize because there's going to be some things that we want to adjust as we go along, and this just makes it easier to do that. So we're going to go ahead and hit import and customize. And now we're going to start working through this with our sheet, right? So I know what the purchase price was before, right? All right, so I'm going to put a purchase price in right here, very close to what it closed for when we sold it back in 2019. And then later on, I'm going to show you how this is going to come into play and how you can adjust some other variables to hit your criteria. But we're going to leave that right there for now. But we're going to look at financing. We're going to use this financing. We're not going to do any kind of customized financing. We're going to amortize it. There isn't going to be interest only. There is going to be no interest only. Custom loan amount. So these are typical that we've got saved. We're going to just go with those, right? We're not going to do anything crazy. We're not going to pay PMI because we're putting 20% down. We're not going to finance the rehab costs because there's not going to be any rehab on this property. Purchase cost. We're going to say it's around 3%. If you want to be a little bit more conservative, you could bump it up to 4 or 5, but about 3 is as a buyer is about correct. And then if you want to get real, if you're real OCD about your numbers, you want to itemize it, you can click on this button and it's going to show you, you can click on this and it's going to go all this different closing fees and transaction fees and inspections. But we're not going to do that for the purpose of this demo. Also, because it primarily, I usually round up 3%. Rehab cost again for this. I know there's not any rehab cost in it, but I highly recommend anytime you buy a property, there's going to be something that comes up. It doesn't really matter what and how long it's been there, but something is going to come up, right? And I typically, for a property this size and age, I'm going to put $1,000 in just for those things, those types of things, right? And then the rental income. We're going to edit the rent roll because it did not import anything in the rental income. We're going to edit that. We're going to add number of similar units because this is a duplex, 2 bedroom, 1 bath on both sides. We're going to say 2. It is residential. We know that these are 2 bedroom, 1 bath. Square footage doesn't really matter for what we're doing, so we're going to leave that blank. And these things rent for right around $700 a month, right? According to what we saw earlier through the DealCheck analyzer and through Zillow's estimate that they put in there, this is a little under market. So we would, if we bought this, one of the things that we would do was go to our property management team and or when those leases renewed, we would bump them up, right? We're going to go conservative on vacancy and 10% now for this property. And this is just helping you understand this property. When I owned it for 3 years, I had 0% vacancy. And I'm talking about no physical vacancy and no economical vacancy. It was a very smoothly ran property in a high demand area. Operating expenses. For the sake of this, we're going to leave it 50%. You've probably heard the 50% rule. But again, you can itemize this, right? If you want to itemize it, you can. You can go down through here. If you know the property taxes, see how that number got imported perfectly. If you know the insurance, all these numbers you can put. But we're not going to, for the sake of this. And you can, if you don't think it's going to be 50%, if you think it's going to be closer to, they're almost at 30. If you think it's going to be closer to 40, put 40. Right. But for the sake of this, because I'm a super conservative guy, when it comes to underwriting, I'm going to leave it at 50. Right. And I hope you notice that I am not having to go back and click save and do all this. All that's happening in the background. And then here's the long-term projections. When I started out, I started using these and I pay attention to them a lot. But when I look at my portfolio, it pretty much turns over about every 3 to 5 years. So I don't pay attention to these as much as I used to. Not saying that I don't pay attention to them at all, but I don't pay attention to them as much, right? And then the depreciation for land value, working with your CPA, that actually imported directly from, they pulled it from the property appraiser's website. I did not manually put that in there, okay? And notice there's no save buttons because it saves everything you put in automatically. So once we get through with this purchase worksheet, now we want to look at maybe some buy and hold projections. Let's see where we're at. And then instantly, what you're going to see is your year 1, year 2, year 3, year 5, 10, 20, and 30. And what you want to look at depends, right? It depends on where you're at, what your investing criteria are. Mine is cash flow. So if I were to look into purchase this property, knowing that it just sold for 170 or about 170, I would know that this property is not going to fit my criteria. So one of the things that I would have to now go back and do is figure out, okay, what do I need to do, right? How do I get this property? Since cash flow is my number one investing criteria, how do I get this property to hit that number, right? And I'm looking for $100 a minimum per door, since we have two doors, so $200 a month. I'm looking for cash flow. So 2,400 bucks a year, and I'm at a negative 1,071. So there's a 3,000 plus gap that I've got to get back starting year one. Now, I don't, maybe there are people out there who just have the kind of money laying around and they're fine with paying this out every year. I am not the person who likes to lose any money on any property, whether it be mine or a syndication or anything that I'm part of. The name of the game is not to lose money or to give free housing. It is to generate cash flow day one. What I want to do, how do I fix this problem? How do I fix this cash flow problem? All right, so what we're going to do, we're here at the buy and hold projections analysis page. We're going to drop right down into here, and this is where the big powerful piece is this offer calculator. Now we're going to click on it, and it's going to show you the current price, which is what we put in, right? But here's my highest offer. In order to get my cash flow, I've got to offer $65,000. Now, and there are a couple of things that you can do from here. You can set this as your new price by simply click on save the new price. It's going to ask you sure, because it's going to do a lot of stuff for you in the background. And now that we've done that, now let's go back to our buy and hold projections analysis piece. We're going to hit cash flow day one at about 100, 150 bucks per month per unit. Okay. Now you probably saw that this is one of the things on the offer calculator. You probably saw that you can adjust this, your purchase offer piece, by a couple of things, right? You've got purchase, you got valuation, you got cash flow, investment returns, financial ratios. All of these are built in. So if we wanted to go back and we say, okay, well, it was at 150 bucks a month. Let's say we want to do cash flow at 100 bucks a month, and cash on cash return, while 12% is good, we're probably not going to see that. It's probably going to be closer to 8 or 10. So we'll split the middle. We'll go at 9. And then the internal rate of return, anything over 13% is going to get a second look from me, right? So we're going to leave that at 13. And as we're doing that, now look at what our highest offer is, right? Our highest offer, our highest and best is 94,000, right? So it came up by just doing those, a couple of adjustments, and we didn't have to click on anything. We didn't have to save and then go back to the very end and try to figure out all this junk. It doesn't have to do that. And we click on save new price. We are going to have to click save here. Now we're going to go back to our buy and hold projections, and this is going to line up pretty close to what we want it for. So cash flow year one with that expectancy, if I can highlight the appropriate row. And coincidentally, when I bought this property back in 2016, I paid $90,000 for it, right? So, and it was under market then, and we've adjusted the rents over time as best we could to keep those tenants happy, to keep them in those units. But one thing I want to point out here is this red X right above this picture of the property that was imported automatically, to show you where this property doesn't meet our criteria. Now, you saw me change my criteria for this property, but these criteria that you see here are the defaults that I myself put in, and you can do that too. And I'm going to show you how to do that next. So basically, we're just going to click on this, right? We're going to click on the edit. If you want to make a purchase price criteria, you can, and total cash needed, whatnot, you can do all that. These are your defaults, right? These are specifically to you. If I wanted to change these for to do 100, I want to do cash on cash at 9, just like we did earlier. Internal rate of return at 13. And those are the only things I look out for when it comes to single family and small multifamily, those 2 to 4 units. These financial ratios, if you want to add any of those in there, you can. One of the ones that I see in there a lot, at least here recently with the bigger deals, is they want to know the break-even ratio. Like how much occupancy do you need to have in a given year to break even, to make sure you're going to be able to pay the bank and whatnot. This is a good one too, right? If you are and basically this number right here, 80%, means you're going to be 80% occupied. And what I want to stress, because there are investors out there, people who own properties, who own multifamilies in the commercial space, who will claim that they're at 96% occupancy, right, during COVID or whatnot. You need to ask them, are they talking about physical occupancy, or are they talking about economical occupancy? Because those are two different things. What the bank's going to look for, and what you should be looking for, is economical occupancy. because there may be somebody in a property, in a unit, who's not paying rent. I looked at a property not too long ago. It was a 12 unit, and in the listing, this was on one of the commercial sites. In the listing, it said that this owner claimed that he had 96% occupancy, right? And I was like, well, all right, let me see the rent rolls. Let me see all this. He did. He had 96% occupancy. He had 2 tenants, though, that moved in 7 months ago that had never paid rent. I think they paid maybe the first month, and they hadn't paid rent since then. I'm like, no. Let's recalculate this. And it was closer to like 80, or might even below 80. But yeah, so you can add that in there if you want to. It's not anything that I'll look at on the smaller ones, but all kind of things that are going to go back to when you start importing your data. It's just going to make it that much easier to either say you're going to get a green check mark or you're going to get a red X. But whatever you decide is your criteria for your rentals, then you can put it in here. And then as you're building your funnel, right, as these properties are coming in, you get to decide if you want to look at the property, even though it doesn't meet all of your criteria, or how you can adjust, or what you can adjust to make sure that it does. Now, I'm not suggesting that you fudge the numbers whatsoever. That will get you in trouble, and that will get you in trouble really fast. The only time I've ever lost money on a deal is when I got emotional about it and I tried to fudge the numbers. When I'm saying what you need to adjust is what you need to look at most oftentimes is the purchase price to get it to hit your investing criteria, right? All right, guys, that is today's tutorial on why DealCheck.io is the best REI calculator on the planet and why I'm an affiliate with them. What you just saw there is what made me like, wow, you mean this tool actually exists that I can use, and it's extremely affordable, extremely well worth it. And I know it's going to make your underwriting process that much more efficient, and you're going to build out your sales funnel so you can quickly log in. You know which properties you need to attack and which properties you need to follow up on and stay present with. So as I promised in the very beginning, I am an affiliate. I didn't promise I was an affiliate. I stated that I was an affiliate. I feel like I need to say that again. If you use the link below in the description, then I will earn a small commission based on what you purchase. But in doing so, I want to make sure you have a promo code that you're going to get 25% off regardless of what you sign up for. So use the link in the description below, but then also you can sign up for free. You don't have to do anything. This little code right here comes where when you decide, hey, yeah, this is the software that I've been looking for. This is going to streamline my underwriting process. It's going to help me close more deals because I can underwrite them faster and I can follow up with brokers and realtors and homeowners quicker than if I'm using some other calculator, right? When you decide this is a platform for you, when you go in to check out, remember this right here. Remember this W2 CAP, W2 CAP, and it's going to get you 25% off for whatever level that you sign up for. All right, guys, if you need anything, you have any questions, let me know. I'm at j@w2capitalist.com. Now let's get out there and earn, invest, repeat.